What's up, guys? This is Jakob. I'm Content AI Manager. I'm host of the Content AI Show. Welcome to a new episode of my show where I speak with investors, with developers, with people, experts on the AI space. And today I'm speaking with Daniiar Abdiev, who's the co-founder of Semantir.com, which is a B2B SaaS company that helps you to generate content on scale through AI technology. Welcome, Daniiar, to my show. I'm happy that you have the time, and welcome.
Thank you, Jakob, and thank you for inviting me to your show.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm really excited to speak with you because you're the perfect fit. You're in the content space and you're in the AI space, and this is the niche where I am in, and I love to speak with co-founders, founders, investors who are in this niche. So, first of all, can you introduce yourself? So, who are you? Where are you from? And why are you within the AI space?
Sure. I'm Daniiar, and I'm co-founder of Semantir.com. It's a B2B SaaS tool for content generation. We're generating product descriptions, product listing pages for e-commerce businesses at scale. So when it comes to hundreds of different products or thousands of different products, we basically are your people. We can generate you different product listing pages very quickly and in much cheaper way than traditional methods. I started doing AI not that long ago, relatively, I guess, like around 4 years ago, probably, professionally as a machine learning engineer. And around a year ago, I and my co-founder started the company Semantir. And it's been a pretty incredible journey so far.
What was the reason that you said, okay, we have to do this, we have to start our own company, we have to do this whole machine learning things? What was the main motivation, the main reason?
Yeah, sure. So basically how it happened is we discovered that there is this technology called GPT-3, right, from OpenAI. But even before that, we discovered that there were some other open source implementations of this technology, and we wanted to try that because we didn't have access to GPT-3. So we were playing around with this technology, and we were just fascinated with the technology itself and what it can do in general. We didn't know much about e-commerce problems at the time, or problems when it comes to content at scale at all. So we kind of were playing with the technology, and we got access to GPT-3, and we started creating a product that would be a great fit for what we call retail consumers, for copywriters and content managers who are actually their daily job is to write. And
Yes.
that's what we started working on. But then as we started our customer development and started talking to more clients, we realized that there's this gigantic niche that seems to be not filled at all when it comes to AI content at scale. So when instead of creating a tool for retail customers, right, whose daily job is to write, we actually sell to businesses who ultimately consume this product in the end and present it to the users in DC. And we realize that there's this huge demand, and that's basically where we are going. So yeah.
I love the term content on scale because I use it myself. That's just a coincidence. But how would you describe this? So what does this mean when you say content on scale? Does it mean that you have a global audience, or what does it exactly mean?
Yeah, to us, what content at scale really means is that instead of spending lots of time on generating just certain one piece of content and then generating a second and third etc., what you do is you provide a set of instructions and you get hundreds of, let's say, product descriptions at a time, right? Or thousands of product descriptions, instead of doing it one by one, as usually is done. And besides, product descriptions can be anything, can be service descriptions, or in landing pages, if you have different products in your landing pages, for each landing page, like SEO optimization can be as well be driven at scale, right? Not by one for each page, but for all pages at one batch, basically.
Yeah. And let's talk a little bit more about your customer base. So these are e-commerce businesses who have a lot of products, I guess. So
Mhm.
many variations in color or in the format. But tell me more about them. So what type of clients do you have so far?
Yeah, for sure. So right now we are definitely are concentrating on e-commerce businesses. Just like I said, businesses that have different variations of products or different products in general. So like even pharmaceutical business or fashion business, etc. But the vision is that the same principles that we are developing with e-commerce can be applied to any business, really, that can use content to help them sell whatever they're selling. So if it's consulting business that sells consulting services in like marketing, let's say, right? It would be useful for a business like that to have a blog page describing their services in more details and why they should use their services. I don't know, top 10 tools that they use and etc. Something that can be helpful not only to their potential clients, but also just to general audience. It's a great way to promote your business and to be just generally helpful, right? But something like that takes time and resources and effort. And that's very difficult to maintain. Like in general, blog section would be difficult to maintain if you're a small business, right, or even middle-sized business, because usually you don't have time and resources for that. And that's something that we are thinking we can definitely solve in the future, right? Where instead of you spending hours and hours or hiring a copywriter who also spends hours and hours in writing all these blog sections, you basically use our tool to generate more. And this is just one of the directions. There's a whole lot we can do. Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about the vision. So what is the long-term vision, the 10-year plan or the 20-year plan for the company?
Yeah, I definitely like to think about very, very long-term vision. It's kind of it's almost like
That's good.
dreaming.
Yes.
But
Let's dream a little bit.
yeah, the idea is that I think because the technology itself became available not that long ago, like relatively not that long ago, there is no de facto tool for certain types when it comes to content generation. So what I mean by that is, let's say when it comes to email, we usually think of Gmail usually or Outlook, right? Because these are kind of de facto tools. When it comes to CRM systems, we usually think of Salesforce. When it comes to like video calls, we usually think of Zoom or Google Meet or something like that. And etc. We can come up with examples like that all day long. And it seems like there is no de facto tool right now when it comes to AI content generation. And the reason for that is simply because the technology is just has been available for not that long ago, for just a small amount of time. So there's no simply time yet for creating this de facto tool. And usually those de facto tools are broad and yet narrow. So they tackle one problem. And that's what we want to become. In the long-term vision is that we want to become this de facto tool when it comes to content at scale, right? Basically, if you own a business and you quickly need to fill it with content, e-commerce business or any other business, you will use our service because that's something normal. You don't even research it or think about it, right? Just like Gmail or Salesforce. That's basically the long-term vision.
Whoa, you want to be the hidden champion when it comes to content AI tools. That's nice.
When it comes to like content at scale, I think we definitely have a pretty good chance. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So maybe this is not a very fair question, but I have to ask it because otherwise I can't sleep in the night. So how are you going to do it?
Yeah, it's a great point. I think here, first of all, understanding of the customer needs, obviously, and innovation is the way to go. And so far as we look like at competitive space, it seems there are really successful companies already, but they're all tackling, as I said, retail part of it, right? I don't see that many companies that use AI for like really at scale B2B needs, especially when it comes to e-commerce. So that's first edge, right? And then the second one is there's a clear need for, and that actually is being tackled already, but we started that even earlier than we see the trends. The second edge is factual information. So when you use AI for content generation, you usually provide some sort of input, and the rest is being created by AI. And whatever is created by AI often tends to be very general information and not factual information. So it lacks facts, and for understandable reasons. And we are working on a way to solve this problem by basically looking at the biggest database of information, which is internet. So we parse the information from the internet, get the factual data, and incorporate that factual data into our input in order for AI to generate output that not only makes sense semantically, right, but also factually. So that's basically how our plan. Yeah.
So you're adding data to the GPT-3 model. Can you say this?
Yeah. Basically, we are adding factual information to GPT-3, but we also use our own custom models right now. And in the end, you get this factual output. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Cool. But are you mainly using, so if you say you're producing content, is this mainly text production, or is it includes also video content, or is it basically text production?
Yeah, right now it's mainly text and mainly product descriptions. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, got it. Okay. Yeah, that's basically how I also work when I produce for clients, when I produce content. I mean, I'm using the AI tools that I have and creating blog articles. I always say 60-70% of the blog article is AI generated, and the last 30% is my magic. So I worked as an editor, as a former editor, so I know what they expect, and adding the last puzzle for creating this article. And you're doing this, but in a more in a sense of a machine learning approach, that you fill it with data in order to scale this.
Yeah, you're sort of right, because so the way we see our piece in it, right? So the first piece is what AI generates semantically correct output, but then it lacks factual information. So a famous example, if I would ask GPT-3, like, what's the stock S&P 500 price, it will tell me, but that information will be not correct because it doesn't have direct access to information. So that's the problem that we are solving. For GPT-3 to actually correctly answer questions like factual questions. But then this 30% or whatever percent of magic, right, that you're talking about, I think that depending on the use case, but for blogs, I definitely see that this percentage is still needed just to make it more humane and more kind of relevant. I don't know whether it's probably something that's solvable long term, but definitely not the case right now.
Yeah, maybe through GPT-4. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
We will see, but yes, we will see. So I have also the experience when you need general information. So, for example, definitions or standard descriptions or things like that. This is where AI is really strong. But when it comes to including new events, like you said, factional things, so they don't get it. But one thing, semantic search. Because I'm also using this, but how would you describe semantic search to somebody who never heard about AI? What is semantic? What does it mean?
So in general, semantic search, well, in the context of our tool, is when instead of searching by keywords, we search by meaning. So if I would traditionally, the way search works is that if I would search for, let's say, I don't know, movie tickets, right? And I write, and that's how I search. I literally type movie tickets. if the search looks only on keywords, I will get results only that contain the word movie and the word tickets, but I will not see the results that say cinema pass or something like that. So that's it's definitely part of the problem that we are solving when we get information from the internet, because we are not doing like a keyword search, we're doing a semantic search where we're search by meaning, basically.
Okay. This, in other words, you can say that through GPT-3 or AI tools, we're humanizing the search, how we search about topics. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to summarize it.
Yeah, that's cool. Cool, like it. Okay, maybe one step back. What is one of your first memories when it comes to AI? So what is a movie? Was it a book, or what was the turning point, so to say, or some key moment in your life?
I think when it comes to AI, for me, the key moment was the Go competition where AlphaGo won Lisidol. Yeah, that was definitely
the documentation, right?
Not the documentary, but the actual event. I was watching the actual event, and it's actually funny because I stumbled on it completely randomly on YouTube. I was browsing YouTube, and I stumbled on this event. I didn't know about this, and I stumbled on it. It was like AI is playing Go, this is the world best. And I knew about this from like software engineering classes, that it is very difficult problem to solve for a program, just because of sheer numbers of possibilities. That's why I was intrigued. I was immediately click on this video and I watched the entire thing, and I was amazed. I was like, I have to start learning this, because before that I was doing just backend engineering. And then after that video, I started doing AI.
Yeah, interesting. And you thought, okay, I have to spend more time with AI. That's what you thought.
Basically, yeah, I thought that I have to learn this, and because I want to do something similar.
Yeah. Okay. And when you compare your, I mean, you studied backend engineering, and when you compare it with the technology now with machine learning, what are the main differences? So is it a totally other world, or are there any similarities? How would you? Because I'm not an engineer. I'm a political scientist. Study political science because that's something that I don't have experience. So just curious.
Yeah, in my experience, software engineering and ML engineering are very much similar, just because whenever you create a model, there's lots of engineering is involved. Very, very traditional engineering, where you have to consider time and memory and hardware, and like how you're going to scale it. So there's lots of very traditional engineering involved. What's definitely different in my experience is debugging process. When something doesn't work in a traditional software, it is very well, at least in my experience, it's very straightforward, because you see the error. It basically doesn't work, right? But in ML models, you don't see the error. You just see the performance that's not as good as you wish to do it. So if it's language models and you want to generate a blog post and it generates a blog post that's very redundant, it's not really an error. It's just not the performance that you expected. And it's really difficult to debug a model like that, because you don't know whether it's performing to the best of its ability or it's not, and you can actually make it better. And it's up to you as a developer to make it better. And so that's, to me, that's the major difference between traditional software engineering when it comes to like development process, for sure, and ML.
Yeah. So you can also say it's more time consuming because you don't know where the error is, and and you have to check everything, and
Yeah, for sure, it's more time consuming, and you have to kind of, I guess, work on your mindset in terms of settling for results, I guess. Yeah.
That's a good approach. So,
Yeah.
I just thought, okay, if I do this alone, I will do this forever. But I mean, you have a team, so let us talk a little bit about the team. So, how many people are involved? What kind of people are there? Are they only software engineers, or are they also marketing people? So, yeah, just share it.
Yeah, we have 8 people on our team. I'm pretty proud of our team. We're a group of very talented people. We have people in marketing and in sales. My co-founder is mostly working on sales. And when it comes to development team, we have a designer who's also just generally responsible for product kind of user experience and how it's interactive, right, kind of vision. We have 2 front-end engineers, and I'm kind of doing both backend and everything that has to do with ML models. So yeah.
ML means machine learning models, right?
Right, machine learning models.
Yeah. Okay, just to make clear. Cool. And are they all? So is it a remote team, or do you have an office?
Yeah, we actually kind of distributed, sprinkled all over. So we have 2 people in Budapest, and we have and I myself in Dubai, and the rest of the team is in Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan. So yeah, we're a very much remote team, but we do have the office in Bishkek. Yeah.
You have the office in? Sorry.
We have office in Bishkek, and people in Budapest, and I in Dubai work from home. Yeah.
Okay. So international remote team. Any suggestions or ideas to work efficient as possible with a remote team? Because I think this is the future, and it should be also normal I mean, COVID showed us that we should also do it remote, and it's also possible. So any suggestions? I mean, this is not the AI topic, but it's still interesting for me because it goes into the topic of digital leadership, how such a team works or works efficient.
Yeah, I think one-on-ones are very important, just because usually and make sure to spend those one-on-ones not only on business related topics, right, but in general, just because when you're working in the office, you can chat about different things while, I don't know, having your coffee, right? And this is something that's not happening in remote work, and something that's missing. And I think one of the best ways to fill this gap is through one-on-ones with your team. And in general, even just chat, like group chat, to make it as active as possible. I think it's also can help.
Yeah. Do you use Slack, or what do you use?
We actually use Telegram.
Telegram. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Because most developers, they are within the Slack very deeply. So okay, interesting. But I also use both. Yeah. Cool. Nice. So when it comes to AI, there are many misconceptions in the world, in the media. As a former journalist, I know bad news is oftentimes good news for journalists because you get clicks and people buy stuff. But what are misconceptions, in your opinion, that make you maybe also angry or sad, that you would love to tackle and at least bring one of them, kill one of them? What would that be?
Yeah, I think the biggest misconception that I see over and over again is that AI can do everything, basically can solve the problem entirely without any help or correct usage, even not even help, but correct usage, right? So the idea, and it has to do with the hype around AI, which is well deserved in certain cases and not really in other. But what happens in the end is that lots of people assume that if they will integrate AI of any kind in any problem, it will basically automatically solve everything, all the problems. And this misconception is really bad just because it hinders the adoption of AI, right? Because when you have extremely high expectations and you get results, pretty good results, but not as high as you expected, so not all problems are solved, you think that it's the problem of AI and you not adopt it at all.
Yes.
And that's a really big problem, and I think a really big misconception. And I think that's something that should be addressed. And that's something that we at Semantir are definitely trying to address whenever we show the product to customers and talk to customers about AI. We never position ourselves as something that, hey, this will magically just reduce all of your problems with content. And that's not the case. It's definitely something that reduces time, like optimizes time that you spend on it, and optimizes costs and delivers better quality. But there's still this, as you said, 30%, 20%, right, that you need to put in to make it more human, right, and to make it with the final touch. And that's something that I think is important for people to understand.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, because I'm using these tools and still I have work to do. So it's not like magic is happening and I'm pressing this button and then I can relax and watch 24/7 Netflix or something. It still works because it's even, I have more clients because I have to manage more assets because I'm producing also more. So you still need somebody who's managing all these assets. So I agree totally to what you said.
Exactly. Yeah.
I had another question based on GPT-3 that I forgot. So just to make sure that I understand it, you as a company, you apply to use the OpenAI office model and use GPT-3 model, right? Is that right? Or
Correct.
how do you Okay, so you have to apply and then you accept it or not? Is it that way?
It used to be that way a year ago, where you would join wait list, and after some time they would reply you back, and then after that, and it's still the case for every single feature that you develop, you have to pass the sort of like a security guidelines, which are really easy to pass if you don't do something shady, which we obviously don't. So that's the process. Right now, though, it's open to any developer. But we are moving slowly away from GPT-3 to our own solutions, just because of the customizations that we can deliver, just for a better user experience.
Okay. This means you will one day cut GPT-3 from your product, or?
That's definitely not a goal at all. The goal is basically to deliver the best experience to our clients. If GPT-3 does that, then it's awesome. I will be more than happy to stay with GPT-3, right? But in certain cases that we have right now, it's not the case, and that's why we had to do our own solutions, and sometimes hybrid, right? But if it will become the case, then of course we'll stay with GPT-3. So basically, the idea is not to use it, but to just deliver the best experience.
Yeah. Interesting that when you implement new features, that GPT-3, so the OpenAI is checking what you add in order to sustain the quality. That's interesting. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a good practice. We are happy to kind of go through this process because it's fairly efficient and pretty fast. Yeah.
And you are, of course, that's the business model. You're paying for using the GPT-3 model, right? Okay.
Correct.
Makes sense. Yep. Yeah. But the data and all the experience when I'm typing something, can you also see it, or is it directly on the main office of the OpenAI, or where you can also see it, right?
Right. Yeah, we definitely can see that, and we need to see that because, as I said, especially in our case, we don't use entirely GPT-3. We use kind of combination in certain cases only our all models. So we definitely have to process that data. But yes, since we are using GPT-3 models, OpenAI definitely also has access to the data.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, what trends do you see? So for this year or for midterm, what trends do you see within the AI space? Of course, content AI, but in AI in general, if you want, what do you think will come to us?
Yeah, definitely. NLP is becoming stronger and stronger, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon, for sure. So I think that the next year we'll see even more models, even bigger models, even more powerful models. I see clearly that the trend is going towards more factual information in the models, just like what we are working on. And it can be seen from OpenAI creating some models with a very similar approach to ours, where they get information from Azure Search. It can be seen as DeepMind that created a model. They didn't like open source yet, and I'm sure that they will, but they showed the research paper that shows how the model can access a certain database of information, and a really big database, but the model itself doesn't have to contain all of that information. So one of the reasons why GPT-3 is so powerful is because it contains all of that data, all of that information, right? Just like you said, you use it for general definitions of things. You see, the information is essentially stored and compressed in this 175 billion parameters. But here, what DeepMind did is that they have this information in a separate database, and they basically train the model to efficiently access the data and use the data in the generation output. And what it allows you to do is continuously update the database, right? So you don't need to retrain the entire model anymore. All you have to do is update the database and add more information, delete irrelevant information that's not longer the case, update it, etc. It's an entirely new way of thinking about NLP, where it becomes not just an algorithm that predicts the next word, but rather like this knowledge-based algorithm. And that's the trend that I clearly can see, and I think it will be the case in the next several years for sure. The development in like this factual NLP. And the other thing that I can see clearly already right now, and I think for the next year it will be the case, is that usage of the same technology behind those language models in other, like in visual and audio data for generating. So right now you can already generate images in TC, but it's still a bit quirky. It's definitely not as good as text, but soon I think it will become just as good as text when it comes to generation. Yeah, and the third is probably that the models are becoming open source. I think that we will see more models becoming completely open source. You can play around with them. Yeah.
So this would mean that when I'm a developer, can use the models and train my own AI and build my own AI?
Yeah, exactly. There's already an open source model called GPT-J. It's smaller than GPT-3, much smaller, but yet it's very powerful, and it's open source. You can use it. The only challenge with that, with using something like this, is that you still need sufficient resources to run this model, because the servers need it, like they have to be powerful.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. The second point, I'm not sure if I really got it, but I just try to summarize it so that making sure that I got it. So this means that AI, there will be soon an AI that can check himself or itself about the factual things and improve their own quality without a human who's training the model. Does this make sense, or?
Well, no, not exactly.
Yeah.
So right now, what DeepMind did is that instead of they created a model that can access this database of information, right, and use that information in the output that it generates. But what that means is that instead of retraining the model every time, you can just update this database. You can add more information or update etc. This update process of the database is still controlled by humans, so still the human will know, right? We'll give we'll basically direct what information is available to the AI and what information is not available. And this is a really good point, by the way, because it's very important, right? Depending on use cases for that model, to make sure that the information that this model has access to is up to date and is accurate, right? I guess theoretically it's possible to outsource even that to AI. Sure, but yeah, I don't know how it will look like, but I guess it's possible.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. So I have to listen again to the replay what you said about the trends, so that I make sure that otherwise I will follow up and ask you again. Don't worry.
Easy.
Okay,
easy.
cool. Oh, thank you for these trends. So one question that I'm always asking at the end. So is there somebody who you could recommend also for this show, who's also maybe in the same niche like you, or is a founder or invests in AI, who would be a good fit for this kind of format? You don't have to say it now, you can think about it, but okay, if you have somebody, awesome.
Yeah, I definitely have some ideas. I'll follow up with you later.
Okay, that's cool. And I will follow up. Cool. If people want to work with you or want to ask you questions, where should they go?
Yeah, definitely. Please reach out at hello@semantir.com and shoot us an email if you're interested in what we do. If you're an e-commerce business, or if you're just interested in what we do and you want to participate, because we're constantly looking for talented people, please shoot us a message as well. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Cool. I wanted to show also the link, but it's loading. Yeah, because you said hello, Semantir.com?
Yeah, hello@semantir.com.
Okay, good. I will just check it. I can also maybe just show the website.
Yeah, sure. Semantir.com. Yeah.
So that people get an idea about it. So this is how it looks like. Oh yeah, I need to check it definitely. Cool. It's all different of type: product description, social media ads, Google ads. Cool. Blog idea generator. Cool. Awesome. So Daniiar, really thank you for your time. Is there something that you want to share, some last statement or something that you would love to give the community? If there's something, that's your last chance.
I feel a lot of weight right now.
Yeah, no pressure. No pressure.
No, I think I would just say that, but I'm guessing whoever, like everyone who's watching the show, is definitely very open to new technologies. But I would still say that make sure to try new tech
Yes.
and try to adopt it in your daily life, not to just kind of try, oh, it's cool and forget about it, but try to adopt it, because you might be very surprised on how much better it will make your daily life.
Yes, that's a very important topic, a very important thing, that you include these tools in your daily business. That's so important, and I have to stress this, because it will save you time, it will save you money, it will bring you clients, new projects. Really, that's the reason why I do this, and that's the reason why I'm on this mission to speak about this topic, also about the risks, of course, or about the misconceptions, because it's important to have a discussion and to make people more sensitive to this topic. really, thank you. Was an honor to speak with you. I hope this is not our last conversation. There will be. I hope you continue this. And yeah, thank you for your time. If there are any questions, just type it into the comments. I can send it to Daniiar, and he can also, or we can together answer them. And thank you for watching, and see you on the next episode. Bye bye, guys. Thank you, Daniiar. Bye bye.
Thank you.